Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Runday. I'm Brett from Run Queensland, and today I'm joined by race director extraordinaire, Craig Thornley from the Western States Endurance Run. G'day mate.
G'day.
How are you mate?
I'm pretty good.
That's good. Hey, I thought I'd get dressed for the occasion. I got to come and run the race in 2018, so I got my cap, my hat, the hat, my shirt, and my belt buckle today.
Oh yeah, that's shiny. And I, of course, am wearing my black all shirt you gave me.
That's nice.
Or one of two that you've given me.
Yeah, well, we're hopeful we can run our race this year. So that's what one of the things when I sort of thought about getting in contact with you that I really wanted to talk about was to sort of see how you guys were going and like the impacts of all this COVID stuff's had. Obviously the race has been cancelled, and from a race director's point of view, how that looks for you guys. Because I mean, I know for us, there's just a lot of different things to maneuver to try to get the race on in October. So I just wanted to see how that is for you, mate.
Yeah, well, we made the decision in March 27th, I believe. And not a lot of races had been canceled at the time. So it was a pretty hard decision, but you know, it's gotten easier now that almost the whole 2020 schedule in the summer is getting decimated with Leadville just being canceled in August 22nd, I believe was the date there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as it seemed like at the time we were making a decision that was pretty far out in the future, and we were thinking more about the conditions that the runners were dealing with, the entrants were dealing with currently, instead of looking at what's it going to be like on June 27th. So in that respect, it was easy to think about what the runners were doing all over the world and, you know, not being able to train. But yet it was still hard not to think, well, what if this all blows over and in June we're going to be fine? So depending on the perspective that we looked at it, it was either really easy or really hard to do. But now that races are being canceled all over the place, all over the calendar, it's like, okay, everybody's going to have to deal with it. Hopefully you guys, you're in October?
Yeah, we're in October. The interesting thing for us though is now we're kind of getting, I guess for want of a better word, surrounded by all the other races. So like you guys took the decision to postpone till the following year, a lot of our races have moved through back into October in and around where we are. So it's really interesting. So so we're sort of sitting there and waiting, and at this stage we're offering a full refund to all of our entrants. So we're not investing in the race as such, like yet to purchase a lot of things. We're talked to a lot of suppliers to hold off so that we can ensure that our runners get their money back instead of like doing that. But yeah, one of the things that when I went to Western States that I really got to appreciate, and I've brought a lot of that back to our event now, is just how massive that event must look like for you guys. I know there's yourself, and I think you said to me you had 4 part-time workers maybe, and then you had all the board, and then the millions of volunteers you guys get. So is it a 12-month project for you just to get that event on every year?
Yeah, it's definitely a 12-month project.
Yeah,
we don't have millions of volunteers, thousands of volunteers, not millions, but yeah, it's a huge team.
When I was running that event, it felt like it. I felt like I was slow, and it took me forever to get there. I remember I'm sure that I got a cuddle off you. My brain wasn't quite there. I'm sure I got a cuddle off you when I crossed the line, and I know it was the next day. And as I crossed it, and I was with my friend, and I was running with him yesterday actually, when we were chatting about this again, it was sort of saying, far out, we can't even try to get in the race now to 2022 again. There's so many people that are going to try and get in this race. The other thing too I was looking at is the stats, mate, which you probably know off the top of your head anyway. So for this year's race, there was 6,664 people that were trying to get in the barrel. When you first started, when you were the race director in 2012, so you've been the race director for 8 years, there was 1,940 people that tried to get in the event. How many do you think are going to try and get in it for 2022?
it's a blessing and a curse. It's obviously a position that lots of race directors think they'd like to be in, having such high demand for the race. But the hardest part is dealing with the disappointment of so many runners. None of us like hearing stories of people giving up trying to get in, or just being so frustrated that they start souring on the race. That part is not fun for any of us. But yeah, we'll probably be looking at changing the lottery a little bit. We have a committee that's obviously this COVID thing is bumped everything out a year. But because the increase in the number of applicants is growing so fast, the increase in number of tickets is not significantly changing the probabilities in year over year. So you could be a 2-year applicant with whatever your percentage, and then the 3-year applicant, you have a lower percentage than you did as a 2-year applicant. So in order to address that, we'll probably we are looking at changing the multiplier. So instead of 2 to the n minus 1, it may be 3 to the n minus 1. So that they get so you get significantly higher probabilities in future years, so that you don't have to get depressed when your probabilities decrease in subsequent years. But that leads to all sorts of practical problems, because we love doing the lottery with paper tickets and a manual draw. But when you increase the number of tickets, we're already pretty close to the max that we could do with printed tickets. So we may have to go to some electronic draw, which is, which could open up all kinds of other criticism and problems. And, I don't know if you guys have lotteries, Powerball lotteries, but we have these lotteries, and they're with ping pong balls, and computerized algorithms are not trusted for those sorts of things. So it's a challenge. It will be a challenge for us to make a process that's trusted, but allows us to change the number of tickets significantly.
Hang on, mate. I just got to plug my computer in. That's very unprofessional. That should be better. Well, I had a look and I was thinking, you guys had basically the best part of 16,000 tickets in the draw in December. I mean, who cuts them up?
Yeah, what did we have? It was more than that, right? It was.
I think it was 16,000 tickets in total.
I think it was higher than that.
I tried to do the maths quickly there last night.
Yeah, I should have it here. It was. No, I can't find it right now. Oh, I know where it is, on the lottery page.
Yeah, but I think you like that disappointment you're talking about. When I got to the race, though, the enjoyment I had and knowing how special it was, and I went there injured, I thought, there's no way I'm not finishing this thing.
It was 27,000 tickets.
27,000. Well, there you go.
Yeah. You were right on the 6,664 applicants with 27,872 tickets.
I mean, I've listened to millions of podcasts. It's incredible. And who cuts them up?
Yeah.
Not you. That should be like a free entry to the race if you cut them up. I'd come and do that.
Yeah, we have a secret. I don't reveal who cuts our tickets up.
It's not Gordy.
It's not Gordy, no.
I think though, when you finally get to do the event though, the appreciation you have for it is unbelievable. I know for me, it meant that much. We still talk about it like it happened yesterday. It's only 2 years ago now. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, so we offered, similar to what you said you were going to offer, 100% refund.
Yeah.
Or roll over to 2021, and no one has taken the refund at all. It's 100% refund, and no one wants their money back. They want their spot in the race. No.
Oh, there's no way you'd give it up. There's no way in the world. I mean, I know right from the get-go when I arrived on the Wednesday and we had that international barbecue, you just felt like And I know too that you live right at in Auburn, so in the Finnish suburb. I tried to, unless you've moved since I've done my research yesterday. It's just a stunning vibe the minute you get there, and how welcomed you felt right throughout the race. It was just amazing. I mean, even sitting there talking to, I don't know, I wouldn't call it talking to people who couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak French and stuff like that. It was amazing. Like, you could just feel that I kind of language of love, I guess, of trail and people. That's what I felt when I was there.
Yeah, it's pretty special. The volunteers, the communities, they are definitely invested in the race and the runners. They love seeing people from all over the world coming to Auburn and coming to Squaw Valley and coming through our aid stations.
One of the questions, I've heard you answer this question, but I'm going to ask it because we're a qualifier for the Western States, the Blackall 100, and we have been for 3 years. And we kind of feel a little bit lucky. We've always got one entrant into the race, and we had another one this year. Do you ever see that number increasing from 369, or is it something that the board and yourself would want to increase, or is it something you think needs to be just kept at that number of 369?
It's not an easy answer. One, we are limited by the federal legislation, Granite Chief Wilderness, which is mile 3.5 to mile 10.5 now. It was recently extended or expanded. Organized events in the United States are not allowed in wilderness areas. So because we predated the wilderness area, we were grandfathered in. We're still allowed to run through Granite Chief, but the proviso is we can't have more entrants than we had before the wilderness was created.
Yeah.
1984, we had 369 runners. So that's where we're stuck from a legal perspective. Are there ways to get more runners? We thought we had an avenue to get 40 more, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it would be significant for those 40 people.
Yeah.
We're pushing it up the chain. The Tevis was going to give us 40 spots. Tevis is the horse race that we involved in. They haven't filled up in the last few years, so they were going to give us 40 of their spots. And we pushed it up the chain a bit in the Forest Service, and it was finally advised to us that we don't push it anymore because it would open us up to public scoping or public scrutiny. And there are groups in the United States that really believe that wilderness areas are sacred and we shouldn't be allowed to use them even with our grandfathered in. So it's a difficult political environment to increase it. But then there's the practical experience, and our shuttles, our crews, we're pretty maxed out trying to get people's crews into these aid stations. Yeah, if we increased it, we could put limitations on crews. Say you couldn't have them in Robinson Flat, but when you start messing with that, then you're potentially changing the runner experience and the crew experience, which is important too.
Yeah.
In a way that's unpredictable. So we wouldn't want to grow to 800 runners, but we think we could increase by 40 or 50 or 60 without significantly changing. But go higher than that, and then it's going to be a different experience for the runners. And
we do. We've got a couple of the bigger races here too, and I mean they're fantastic. And the vibe's really nice at the start, and our race has slowly started to grow. And we've always sort of thought, would you keep putting more and more people in? But I think you'd lose the runner experience. I felt like in Western, I was in this huge race, but I was kind of on my own for quite a lot too. Like there was that sort of, you'd come into Rucky Chucky and it felt like you're in like this river disco, with all the lights and stuff. And by the time I got there, it was really interesting because you know how they block the river up ahead at night. I'm looking thinking, this doesn't look like the movies because it was so shallow. By the time slow people like me got there, I'm like, and my son's sitting across the road, and it was really funny because they sort of said to him, did you walk down by yourself? There's mountain lions here. And I'm like, it was just like amazing, all the sort of things that you kind of got. But those, it was just amazing, that sort of stuff. The one of the other things, I don't know if you can answer this easily, because I'm pretty sure there'd be heaps of, what are some of the weird questions you would get asked, if you've got any that you can think of off the top of your head?
Weird questions?
Yeah.
Well, I still get quite a few people who think that, they have a special project, like they want to run ultras all over the world, and that should get them an entry into Western states. I get so many of these contrived plans to do something unique, and that uniqueness should get them a spot in Western states. I get that all the time. Like, there's 6,000 people waiting to get into this race. If all it took was you as a runner making up a slam of races from whatever they're choosing, if all it took was that, then everybody would do that, right? So those, it still surprises me when I get those. Like, come on, do you not see how many years people are waiting to get in this race? There's no way we can just letting you skip ahead of all these people because you're running 8 ultras in the United States or 8 ultras in the world or something.
Okay. Hang on a second. Uniqueness and definitely more than 8 races in a year, May. Thanks.
Well, we use the term special consideration. We grant very few of those, and I hate to say it, but everybody's mom thinks that their son or daughter is special.
Yeah.
But to be special in Western states, it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
You're special to your mom, but you're probably not special out of the 6,000 people that want to run Western states. So that's still, I don't know. Those are the ones that surprise me. By now, they're like, no, don't even try.
I think that's one of, since I've started doing this race directing, because I kind of got into it because I just loved running and wanted to try to make it my job. The one thing that I've really learned about myself is that you're not going to please everyone, and I used to take it really personally. Like when I first started doing it, because I was trying to please everyone, and I thought, and we're actually kind of to a degree going through that at the moment. We've got a race called Rainbow Beach Trail Festival, which is at Rainbow Beach. It's stunning. And one of the things that initiative we've brought in is to not have medals at this race, because it's on the 1st of August. And with our restrictions coming down, we think that we're going to get a race on. And we don't know exactly what it's going to look like because of gathering issues and restrictions and that. But if you look at our government, what they're bringing in, we should be able to get it on. So to try and get medals is impossible at the moment. We always give a medal out. So we decided that instead of giving a medal out, we'd give each runner as they cross the line a voucher to go and spend in the town so that we can inject a bit of that money back into town. And there's people I've had a couple of emails with people that are upset that they're not going to get a medal and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of at first, it's disappointing. And I thought, I kind of get people's perspective too, and they're welcome to it, but you kind of got to make a decision based on what the race is at, where it's at. And I kind of welcome all those kind of emails now, where at first I used to cringe thinking, how am I going to answer this? And I just think, you're just not going to please everyone. You'd have that on a mass scale though.
Yeah, definitely. We try to be consistent and not make exceptions or, not try to deviate from our values. And that really makes it easier to defend decisions. And we vet any decision we make long before we announce the decision. So we seldom have to renege on a decision we make. And if we've had a diverse group of people examine all sides of an issue and we vote to proceed in a certain manner, then we're convicted we believe in those decisions, and you apply them consistently.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not going to please everybody. That's the nature of our business, right?
Yeah. Mate, the other thing too, I was going to chat about, and I'm going to rattle this. I don't hear you talk about your running very much, right? Because in my mind, I knew you did a bit, and I knew you'd done Western States. And then I'm like, I decided I'd Google look at your ultra sign up. I'm like, oh my goodness, you must have done at least over 90 ultras. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know the exact count, but yeah, it's getting close to 100 ultras.
Well, I know you got 97 races, and some of those were 25
Yeah,
milers. So I'm
yeah,
like, I'm not going to give him them as ultras because they're 25 mile.
right. It's
No,
somewhere.
you got to sort that out.
I've lost count.
So you could get in Western States anytime you want because you could go for your 10th because you've had 9 finishes at Western States.
Yeah, I get to choose when I want to run my 10th.
Yeah. And so your first one was in 2001.
Yeah.
Your last one was, I think, your slowest one. Is that the only time you've gone over 24 hours too?
Yeah. I have, yeah. My
I
ninth was my first bronze buckle and obviously my first golden hour experience, which was more special than any of the other finishes. When I finished in the middle of the night at 1, 2 in the morning, like, not a lot of people are around. The 99-mile party, they're already drunk and
yeah.
passed out. So you finish at 10 a.m., 10 to 11 a.m. Wow, the town is rocking. It was an awesome experience.
I kind of felt like, I mean, I've not had that experience that you said about the middle of the night there, but I had it about, because I was 28, so what's that, about 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
And I was like, the day, because I was thinking, far out, this is dragging. Then as the sun came up, it was just stunning country that I was in. I thought, wow, this is awesome. But yeah, so I didn't realise how much running you've done. Done UTMB, Javelina 100 mile. There's just a massive list of running. So is that how you kind of got into the race directing? Was that a progression of your running, or was it?
Yeah, I started Waldo 100K. Now it's 19 years ago. That was my first foray into race directing. It was because there was a hole back then. There wasn't 100K or 100 miler in Oregon, so we put on this Waldo 100K, awesome single track in the Cascade Mountains, and I never really planned on being a race director professionally. That's a volunteer thing. But yeah, it was for a love of running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with that Western States finish, the one you said was the most memorable.
Yeah.
Do you think, I find that with the ones that I've done, the ones that turn out pear-shaped, when I'm in it, they're horrid. But you kind of, when you reflect back, you learn, I think it's what I got was that I learned more about myself than what I do I mean, you can appreciate the ones that you do fast and really well and they come together, but you learn more, find I learn more about myself and what I'm made of kind of thing when it goes all pear-shaped and,
Yeah, it definitely. I could have quit many times, and I didn't. I was pretty pleased that I didn't give up. Especially when you're running so far off of what you have in the past. It might have been easier to just bag it, but I wasn't going to bag it with everybody watching me, and I mean, there was a lot of eyes on me, and I took up a spot. I wasn't going to quit just because I wasn't having the day that I used to have. But yeah, they're all good. The good experiences, the bad experiences.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, for sure.
Fun. You're suffering no matter what, right? You get to find out how you react when you're really in the darkest moments, even though it's contrived, right? You're putting yourself into that.
Yeah.
It's a voluntary position you put yourself in to suffer, just to see how you respond.
Well, I think you can then use it in life. Like, I mean, because you kind of know that you can move through it. I kind of get that too, because when people say, you don't know suffering until you've done 100 mile, I'm kind of like, yeah, but I chose to do it. Some of the stuff that you're suffering through, you don't choose, it just comes your way. So I kind of think you can pull on it, but yeah, it's a fun suffering.
It's a fun suffering, yeah. You could end it anytime you want.
Yeah.
Real suffering, you can't necessarily end it.
Yeah.
You don't have the choice of ending it.
Yeah. Well, that's a quick chat. I'm sort of glad that you joined us for the Sunday Runday. I've got one last question for you though.
Yeah.
Other than toilet paper, what's one thing you can't do without on the trail?
What could I can do without? What I can't do without?
What you can't do without, other than toilet paper?
Well, around here, water is pretty crucial. So going out on these Western States trails in the heat. You've been out here in the heat.
Yeah.
You can't go without water.
Oh, that's cool. So we've had water and nut butter and Vaseline so far. So there you go. They sound all pretty essential to me.
Yeah, they do.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, good luck with the 2021 race, and thanks for joining us and giving up your time today. It was a nice insight into Western and your perspective on it, so I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Brett.
Okay, mate. Take care.
Bye.
See you, Craig.